He's locked in for the midterms with a chilling warning for America.
Are you worried about more socialist candidates across the United States?
I think it's a big threat to our nation, actually, because it's not socialism, it's really communism. They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about. I think it's the biggest threat to our nation there is. It's basically introducing communism into the United States of America. There's never been anything so dangerous.
Look, no one's better at politics in the GOP than Trump. And he sees that the new radicals, they may not have policies that work. Of course, they don't work. But they do have a lot of energy and a lot of naive followers who think that a man with a perpetual smile, isn't that creepy, with zero real-world experience, somehow has the answers.
Fighting for working people, we don't have to nationalize that message. That is a national message. It's a national crisis. What these candidates offer is a vision that extends beyond the midterms. It extends beyond 2028. It speaks to what makes so many of us proud to be Democrats. It speaks to a vision that goes back to a New Deal understanding of what working people deserve.
A New Deal? Chris Murphy wants to give us a raw deal.
I want to ask you about the New York election results. What you think about that for the Democratic Party, those Democratic Socialists?
And my favorite, well, from the party that essentially excommunicated Kristen Sinema and are trying to drive out John Fetterman, their big tent lie. Now, this is Chris Murphy.
I want us to be a big tent party. I think that it's actually a sign of a party that is alive and growing when there's a contest of ideas inside the party. So I'm not a Democratic socialist, but I do believe that the Democratic Party has been historically way too timid in taking on corporate power. We have to understand that people do not believe that this version of capitalism has worked. And frankly, it hasn't worked.
Okay, wait. It hasn't worked, Chris? Okay. I grew up in Connecticut. Are the people of my home state ready to abandon capitalism, the same system that built the state into what it once was? It was a manufacturing powerhouse. Pratt & Whitney aircraft, Colt firearms, Sikorsky, Otis elevator, electric boat. I could go on and on. And now it's home to so many rich commuters who work on Wall Street and pay huge state income taxes. So when they drive out those residents, who's going to be left to tax, Chris? The DSA train has also stopped in Washington, D.C., where the hard-left Jeanine Louis George is slated to become the next mayor. She likes the idea of teens roaming the streets at night.
Right now, using the curfew as a tool for our young people is dangerous. It is dangerous because we have federal troops who are in our city, mass ICE agents who are in our city. And these are the people enforcing this law on our young people. And these are not individuals who are trained in de-escalation.
Oh, the old de-escalation idea. That's always worked out so well. It's going to be a total disaster. I've lived here on and off for 30 years. Just a few years ago, crime here was so out of control that the extremely liberal D.C. Council was forced to pass legislation for more pretrial detentions for violent criminal defendants. But naturally, the soon-to-be mayor voted against it. But Trump's still going to plan to meet with her, although he warned that he will not let D.C. be destroyed by a communist adherent. Here to discuss is Jeanine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for D.C. You also know her as Judge Jeanine. All right, Judge, Jeanine Louis George is effectively running unopposed. President says he's going to meet with her.
Yeah, well, the president says he's going to meet with her, but I think that irrespective of what she says, you really have to judge people by what they do. The fact, and you said it so well, Laura, this woman voted against detention for violent offenders and carjackers. She was the only one on the D.C. Council, wow, which is left-leaning as you can get. But I think that this woman being opposed to a curfew indicates how unaware she is of law enforcement.
Where'd she come from? I mean, D.C. Council, but what's her other background?
I think she worked for the Attorney General for a couple of years, but she doesn't understand crime, because to be opposed to a curfew, and she thinks that the better way to resolve this is to have programs for young people. I agree, but she's obviously not informed, because there are 1,700 programs that the mayor has for young people in D.C. And to claim that these programs will be better than curfews is absurd. My heart is with the victim, not with the criminal. criminal. And I'm not sure where her heart is.
Now, this GSA candidate tore into Trump for wanting to end cashless bail, Judge. Watch.
Based on justice. It's punishment for poverty. DC not having a cash bail system is not leading to a surge in violence. In our last fiscal year, 92% of the people released pre-trial did not commit a new offense as they awaited trial.
So how is
what is she talking about? First of all, for someone to be against bail, I mean, the truth is that the Constitution and the courts have recognized that bail is a way of assuring that someone's coming back to answer the charges against them. What should we do? Just say, hey, see you later, and make sure you don't hurt another victim on your way to your next crime? I mean, this is crazy. This is lunacy. This is why D.C. was one of the most violent cities in the country. And now President Trump, through making D.C. safe and beautiful, bringing in federal enhancements to work with local law enforcement, has turned it around. And these people think that they're going to change it so that they can take care of the criminal and not the victim. And what's stunning to me is they complain about the National Guard. The National Guard are the only ones who were shot. Sarah Beckstrom was shot and killed. She was in the National Guard.
They don't care about her.
You know, Andrew was also shot, and a National Guard guardsman, and they're worried about the other people and not the real victims.
No, they're worried about illegal aliens. That's what they're worried about. That's the most thing they're most worried about. Illegal alien criminals.
Yeah.
Judge, on the issue with the monuments, President Trump has been very clear that on our 250th birthday, people are coming into town to celebrate. He wanted to beautify this city, which I think is a very worthy goal.
Yeah.
Now, we have more people, more security watching these monuments to make sure they're not vandalized. What can you tell the American people tonight about the state of the reflecting pool? Is it possible to keep it clean? I know there's a lot of debate about you can't even keep it clean if you wanted to. And
well, you know, I don't know much about the construction of the reflecting pool and the algae and all the other stuff, but what I can tell you is that the park police are very much on top of what's going on, that there have been many citations issued, and that my office will be prosecuting any crimes. And let anyone who comes to this district who thinks that he or she is going to vandalize the reflecting pool or any kind of monument, you're facing 10 years in prison. So don't get smart, because we're on the lookout for them, and I'm happy to prosecute.
But you know what I also thought was very just sad, Judge, is that I remember 1976. I mean, that was just such a time of great joy with all the terrible things that had just happened.
Yeah,
the Vietnam War. You had Richard Nixon. You
Yep.
had the national malaise. You had an economy that was in real tatters. But the people came together and they celebrated our country.
Yep.
And politicians, it was all set aside for the birthday of the country.
Yeah. And you know what? What we're facing now is a nation that's not full of people who love America. And it's slowly been dissipating, where it's okay to say that you hate America.
Schools.
And on the road to hating America is you hate capitalism and you hate all of this meritocracy. And the truth is, unless we turn it around, we're going the way of socialism and ultimately communism. President Trump is right.
Do you see that cartoon in the Babylon Bee where the Cubans are now leaving New York to try to flee communism, going back to Cuba? That was actually funny, but it was sad. Judge, it is great to see you on this incredible week.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.